Hey everybody, it's Lyn from Lyn's Crafts, and now for something completely different. How about back to ATC cards? So, I was asked to do a swap by Jane, Velocity Vet 08. Hey Jane! So, we chose to do 5. Why we picked 5, I have not a clue, but we chose to do 5 ATC cards. And I'm actually glad, because doing one, to me, is hard. I'd rather do a few at a time. Because I get kind of hooked on them. So Jane loves shabby chic stuff, so we talked about styles and themes and stuff like that, and we decided to kind of basically just mix it up. So I did one sort of shabby chic style, as far as what I know about it, because y'all know I don't really do shabby chic. So let's see. I hate it because for me, down here is where the bar is on my camera that I can't see, so I will pick it up at some point. I started out by doing magicals in the golden sleigh bells for the background, and I just mixed it with a little water and used it as paint and painted it on the background. And what I actually did was I started out by just mixing it with a little water on my glass and not stirring it up very much. And if you've never used the magicals, at first it's so cool because the colors are separated somewhat. You have to kind of stir it into your medium before it achieves the true color. But when you just got it first mixed in with water, there's all kinds of rainbow colors that pop up. So I really loved that. So I tried not to mix it in too much. So it's got kind of a hint or two of color here and there, but you really can't see it on the camera, of course. So I did some masking. I made a heart mask and used a little, just gesso actually. I just pounced on some gesso onto the little heart mask that I made. And I sprayed over the whole thing with Lindy's Stamp Gang in the Cactus Gold. That's what gave the hearts their little gold iridescence. This is a applique that I believe I got from Gina, and it's on the bag, Gina, if it is from you. So if I'd have been smart and pulled all my stuff out, I would know. But I'm pretty sure it's from Gina. Little heart that was little heart butterfly, little butterfly that was just from my stash. This little cameo that actually came from Lydia, along with these little pink satin hearts with the little pearl in the center. A couple of buttons from my stash, and these are vintage buttons that I've talked about before. Came from my great-grandfather's washateria. They used to own a washateria. And so I wound up with jars and all kinds of containers of buttons. So I have quite a button collection. And a little, what do you call that? Paper clip. A little pump shoe paper clip. A little bling that I put in the center. Sorry about that, missed that. And then on the bottom is some of that funky kind of eyelash trim. And again, I'm not sure who I got that from, but I got that from somebody just recently, probably. So shame on me. Not with my game today. And I did rub just a little bit of Inca Gold on the cameo face to bring the details of her face out, just a little bit. So on the back, where you put your information on an ATC card, what I've done on every one of them is I've done something where when you flip it over, my address and stuff or my information won't just show. But on this one I can show you the back of the card is just the same background as the front. So my information is actually on the back of this. Vintage image that I think is from, it's either from the Graphics Fairy, which is probably where it's from, or it's from Moonlight Magic Free Images, or possibly Sweetly Scrapped. It's from one of those places. Alright, there's number 1. Okay, and you want to talk about now for something completely different. To the other end of the spectrum that I don't really do. I don't do cutesy very much, so I kind of started out trying to go for a mhm, an art journal kind of feel. So the background is actually done with, I believe, the Magicals also, but I couldn't tell you what color. And I did kind of a wood grain pattern. The little birdie I just cut out of some cardstock, and he is embossed with Lindy's Stamp Gang. Woo! Look at that color in the, what is the name of that one? Something slate, something or other, twilight. I don't know what it's called. Woohoo! Luckily enough, I was smart enough to leave them at the front of the drawer, so I didn't have to dig for them. It's the Venus Violet Blue. I knew Violet was in there somewhere. And the belly part is actually the Adobe Fire, which is a very unusual color. And I'll give you that little flash again. Look at that. Isn't that so cool? Y'all know I love embossing powder. And this is also I just cut some leaves. And they are embossed with the Ranger Verdigris. Is that what it's called? Well, that one, see, I knew right where it was. It's called, yeah. Can I get in focus, please? They don't always put the names where you can easily read them against the embossing powder, do they? It's the Antiquities line. Okay. Then I just actually stamped. I've got a little stamp set that's alphabet stamps, and I stamped them, but then I had to go back over them because my black ink pad is so dry. So this is the verdigris, and then behind is the topiary. And if you can see, I actually took my Inca Gold and just rubbed real lightly because the verdigris has a little bit of a metallic look to it. And I did on the edges of the back leaves just to kind of make them match a little bit. I wanted some contrast, but I didn't want them to be too different. So then I just went around the edge with some, vintage photo. Another one of those cool paper clips. Lordy, what a word. And a little piece of iridescent sticky back bling that I've had in my stash for quite a while. Again, on the back, take our little paper clip off. This is what my information is on the back of. And this is the Judykins, is it called Kaleidoscope? I'm not sure. It's either the Kaleidoscope or the Psychedelic. It's a really cool color. And then silver Inca Gold around the edges. And this is just a, wow, in my very first swap package, I got this from Kathy Vong, a little vintage button out of my stash that I put some more of the silver Inca Gold on. Some pattern paper from the Color Box Vintage Treasures, I think that's what it's called. I love this piece. Again, it's got the silver Inca Gold around the edge. A little piece that I cut out and did the embossing powder on. And then I just hand painted the little tree trunk, bush trunk. Alright, so there's two. Sorry, I didn't mean for this to take so long. Okay. Now, I'd say this one was my favorite one because of all the sparkle. It borders on being my favorite one. But when you see the last one, you'll see why it's my favorite one. This one has, I painted the background black on this one. This one has the The Princess Gold Ranger Antiquities embossing powder, and then over the top of that, it's got the Judykins. No, it has. I don't even know. I apologize, you guys, because I'm usually way more prepared than this. I'm just so busy, I'm a bit scatterbrained the last few days. And I was completely wrong. It's the Judykins Black Opal with the Princess Gold. And I probably did the Princess Gold on top from the look of it. Okay? And then, in the Judykins Weathered Iron, I did the Eiffel Tower stamp. And I actually also did it in the Poly Sparkle, the Ranger Poly Sparkle. I did kind of a shadow stamping. I don't know if you can see that, but it didn't show up as much as I wanted. This Paris stamp is from the same stamp set, and it's Oriental Trading Company. I love that set. A little binoculars charm, a set of little sparkly buttons that Steffi, Little Red Wagon Studio. Hey, Steffi. That's where the buttons and the little sparkly bow came from. That adorable little set of goodies she sent me. And I can't even tell you what the name of it is. Craft Cafe or something like that. With the little bottles of doodads stuff. Again, a little charm from my stash that possibly came from Lydia. And I just hit the top of it with just a little bit of ink and gold. And of course that's the vintage photo around the title again. Is that enough? Really, Lynn? A little ink of gold around the edges. And then of course the back. A couple of more buttons. A little ticket that I got from... that may have come from Shelley. That may have come from a rack from Shelley. And this has my information on the back of it. And again, it's just embossed with a bunch of stuff. In the background, it's got... Wow, what did I do? I really don't know. I think I did the black weathered iron, and then I actually rubbed over the whole thing with the ink of gold, and then did the... Wow, I'm not sure. I'm going to be honest and say I'm not sure. I did the Poly Sparkle over it, and then the Ultra Thick Beauty Clear. And this I just hit with my ink pad. It's been a while since I did some of them. You know, you get all the fronts done or all the backs done. So, there is that one. Sorry about that. And while I was digging, this is the chameleon, is the one that's on this background right there. I just found that when I went for the black opal in the Judykins. I love the Judykins embossing powders. Okie dokie, number 4. Sorry, I didn't have that already sitting there. I'll show you the key first. It's just a polymer clay key. That I embossed with my swirly stamp. Swirly stamp, swirly stamp. This is another one of those pink satin bows. And I sprayed it with some Lindy Stamp Gang. I believe the Gossamer Gold. Again, the background of this one is that Magicals, and on this one I sprinkled it on and squirted it with my water, and look, I love what it did. It's so cool. I stamped this in the Ranger Tarnished Gold, and this stamp is a LeBlanc stamp. And then I just hit my Versamark pad around the edges and embossed with, I believe it's the, I don't even know. On this one, I'm going to stick with I don't know, because I don't know. Instinctively, I wanted to say it was one of the new Judykins that I just got. Let me see, maybe it is. It is. It's the Psychedelic. And I keep forgetting they're in their own drawer, so they're not near as hard to look for. So, same thing, this is just from the little alphabet stamp set that I have, and I actually did those with Versamark and the weathered iron. I feel like a tongue-tied mess right now. What I really need is a nap, but I do not nap well, so. Same thing, the little card has, I don't know what around the edge. I believe it's just the Princess Gold. The weathered iron with the little lettering. Again, it says keys to open any door. This little pocket watch stamp is Hero Arts. It's from a Hero Arts stamp set. A little key lock that I just made out of polymer clay. And painted it black and then hit the top of it with some Inca Gold. And just a little strip of cardstock that I ran my vintage photo ink pad across. I'm so sorry, Jane. I did not mean to be so tongue-tied. Crazy busy. Crazy busy. Not an excuse, but it's the truth. Alright. So there's number 4. I love that one. That was actually the first one that I did. My precarious little tripod. Stay with me. Okay. And yes, this one's my favorite one. You know, us Texans and our crazy Texas pride, so I had to do a Texas one. On this one, I did, yeah, I did. This is actually Pearl X powder in the back that I mixed with some glaze, and it gave it this lovely, almost denim kind of look and texture, which I really liked. And of course, this is just hot glue, a little bit of hot glue art, so sort of to simulate or give you the feeling of the Texas flag. And this is just acrylic paint in the middle, little silver Inca Gold over the top of all of it. A little bit of, it's not baker's twine, it's actually that bamboo cord that I tied around. This little Texas right here comes with a story. It's a piece of that, wired garland, and I think it had stars on it. But I found it. I just found a big long piece of it, and so the stars were all tattered and torn, and so I cut them all off and shaped this Texas. And I mean, I did this years ago. I've held on to this thing. It's probably been accidentally thrown away and missed the trash can or something like that, is why I still have it. So I probably did this 10 years ago when it's been floating around in my drawer over there. So when I did this, I knew this was what had to hang from the bottom. So then again, on the back, it's just image I printed off on my computer. And again, this is from, this one may be the Graphics Fairy, actually. A couple of Star Brads that I cut the backs off of, and they're just glued down. And this was a button cover, again, that came in a box of stuff from a yard sale. So I'm sure somebody made it. It's really cute. But I thought that went perfectly. And then again, some of that same color block paper on the back. So There we go. Who knew five ATC cards could take so long to explain? I think it took longer to explain them than it did to make them. No, not really. I really had fun doing this, Jane. I loved the fact that we decided to do so many different, that we decided to do variations, because that made it so much fun. Every one that I finished, I couldn't wait to start the next one. Ideas were already spinning in my head, so there you go, Jane. I really, really hope you enjoy them. I had a blast doing this ATC swap, so